Hey there! One book can change everything. Discover revelations that spark courage, ignite dreams, and remind you who you truly are. From timeless classics to bold new voices, find your next inspiration in every page of Dr. Segun Olugbemi's books, such as Lessons from 30 Years of Marriage. Marriage is much more than a social contract. It is an institution established by God Himself. The man was never created to live in isolation, independent, alone, or all self-sufficient by himself. For two are better than one because they have a better reward for their labor. Red flags. Deception turns rulers into subjects and makes the wise foolish. It is the reason behind every failure, loss, pain, or regret. The life coach. The lessons we learn in life are: precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line. Responsibility of discovery is on you. Defeating the mother frog syndrome. Mother frog syndrome is symptomatic of a lifestyle that is comfortable with whatever life throws at it. A man with great dreams who is unwilling to do anything about it. It is a reactionary life rather than an active one. A life that responds rather than initiates. Without conquest, there can be no victory. Without reaching, there is no getting. This is an apt description of what today's church looks like. This book teaches you how to kill these lethargic and apathetic lives. Mercy. It distinguishes between the Solomon church and the Davidic church. The significance of the donkey upon which no man ever sat on the occasion of the triumphant entry, vis-a-vis the present-day reformers in the rising church who have an understanding that Jesus Christ is either Lord of all or not at all. Prophetic cover. The recipient of prophecy has a key role to play in seeing it come to pass as foretold and benefiting from it, since most prophecies are conditions. Silent years. The silent years are the years we spend without being noticed. They are years of thorough preparation of a vessel by the Master Himself for His unique use. In this jet age of fast food, fast information, online church, online Bibles, and fast in the days of Elijah, for us to independent of Him or one another. We are to be dependent on God and interdependent on one another. Lessons from the Patriarchs, Volume 1 and 2. Every information in the Bible has a message for us. We sure can learn from the names, places, numbers, people, principles, and instructions therein. You can order all these books and more on Amazon or call +2 34805 116 6211.
Hello out there. Thank you for joining us on TLC, the Life Coach. You know, I thought I was going to round up on transformational leadership last week. Unfortunately, I just couldn't. So I stopped at the first three things that you need to do as a transformational leader. I try to convince you, I hope you are. You need to have this self-motivation. Don't wait for outside motivation to do what you need to do. And number three is your ability to make difficult decisions. Your willingness to take the right risks, reasonable, well-calculated risks. Okay? And today, I hope I can run this up, and I will show you the leader when it comes to anything. You just don't know. As I told you, if you miss that, you need to check it out in our previous episode when I was talking about leadership. The steering is a leader. The ignition key is a leader. The door is a leader. The wheel is a leader. The tires are leaders. The tire rod, the battery, and every component of a car is a leader, distinct from one another, from each other. And so we have something. Everyone has something that others don't. That is what leadership is, because you got something on the inside of you. So another characteristic of a transformational leader is, which I spoke about, taking calculated risk. More of what I said, making difficult decisions is what we spoke about the other time, and now is taking calculated risk. Making difficult decisions is different from taking calculated risk. I'm talking about, as a leader, you are not famous because you don't make famous decisions. It's not because sometimes if you put your decision or your whatever to test, people are going to go against it. More people will vote against it. But if as a leader, you know this is what is good for the people, you go ahead, you are looking for the outcome. And the result will justify you, will vindicate you afterwards. But number 4 is taking calculated risks. More often than not, you know, taking calculated risks, a team to gather the necessary intelligence is important. Trusting your gut is easier when you have taken time to research, evaluate, and inform your people, your team, about what you have come up with. Or your team is able to bring back, you know, necessary information to you, and then you now base your decision on these things. With input from these people who are around you, will always give you a positive result, even when the risk is high. Failure to, you know, to take the appropriate risk, you know, and make these difficult decisions will inhibit change and your ability to grow. Life itself is a risk, and not taking a risk is a risk. Do you understand what I'm saying? We take a risk too. What do you have to lose after all? Not taking one. That's it. What you have to lose in not taking risk is not taking one. If you fail to take risk, somebody else will, and will leave you behind. You won't be able to grow. It will inhibit your change. It will inhibit your ability to grow. You want to, you know, sucking in water and drowning. You want to learn driving, you run the risk of an accident. You want to learn flying, you run the risk of crash landing. You want to do, what is it that you want to do on that? You know, someone told me, say, well, I'd rather travel by road than going by sea because I'm scared of flight and if it crashes. And I said, you're going to make a journey of 1 hour by flight. You're going to make it 10 or 12 hours. Tell me which risk is more. One will take you, so you have so many road users, and in some part of the world with very bad roads and sharp bends, so you are at the mercy of more than one factors. Okay? You have much more than one factor because you are considering the other drivers, your vehicle and the durability, you're considering the life of the vehicle, you're considering the gas or the fuel factor, you're considering the health of the car and all other risks, attendant risks to driving for 8-10 hours. But you can limit all that risk into 1 hour by flight. If 1 hour after you took off, you didn't crash, you've landed. Why this guy is just 1 hour into his own trip and he has 10 more hours or 9 hours to go. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's important that you learn that taking calculated risk as an individual will advance your life. But as a leader, it will change your organization for good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Number 5, will be visionary. But most especially if you're a transformational leader, you are naturally very visionary. A good grasp of your potential and gifting will help you to know what to do with it and what you are capable of. Okay? Setting goals and plans for your next season is important. God can do only what He alone can do. But God cannot go beyond what you think or ask of Him. He can do more than you think or ask of Him. This planet, this universe is available, has been created to work in consonance with a man who is limitless in his vision. The entire universe is structured to work with you. Next season can make a difference. God can do anything we think or ask of Him, but you must do that within the prism of what you're able to think out, a vision. You must have a vision to live and die for. A wise man once said, you have not found purpose until you find a reason to live and die. What are you willing to give your life for? What are you willing to die in an attempt to accomplish? I say, well, I either get this or I die in an attempt to get it. And it will be said about me, he lived and died while attempting this. That is what we call purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying? You must see something that keeps you awake at night. Weekly article, some nuggets. You know, there are nuggets, I call them nuggets or random musings. And a lot of people say to me, how do you do this? Where do you get them from? It's like someone just opens a library to you and you just keep copying out these things and sending. How do you get them? I say to them, I write in the midnight while you are sleeping. Say, but you know, don't you sleep? I said, I sleep. But sometimes the sleep isn't coming. I wake up maybe, and no matter how late I go to bed, 2 o'clock I'm awake. And if I go to bed, if I'm lucky enough to go to bed at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock I'm awake. Once I have 2 hours, the body clock is awake. I'm awake and I begin to pick up something. And as soon as I pick my iPad or I pick my phones, these thoughts are coming. I'm studying life. I'm thinking through life. I'm meditating. What is life all about? Why am I here? How can I make the most of my time here? How can I help my fellow humans on earth? How can I touch humanity? How can I do things differently? What can I say that will bless them? What can I do? And I begin to answer these questions. I begin to put these thoughts down. And so I write these thoughts over a period of, 2-3 hours in the night. And I don't know how it happens, but we find ourselves, working on it every day. And we don't know how we arrive at it. We don't know how we get there. We just continue to work on it. In 3 days or 4 days, I find myself, I put up a whole thought. I did them, I send them out to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have a responsibility to sit up, to ask yourself, what keeps me awake? Why am I alive? What's the problem that I want to solve? What problems do I want to solve? What are the difficulties that I can attempt to solve? What changes do I want to see that I can be part of? What answers do I want to provide to the questions around me that will keep me awake, that I'm willing to live and die for? If you were to close your eyes in death today, what would you want to be remembered for? If you were to appear before your Creator, what will you say that I was able to accomplish A, B, C, D? What will you tell them you are happy to have accomplished? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is willing to adapt and always seeking new ways to respond to a constantly changing business environment of the world. They know that the second they fail to change they ought to do will be forgotten. Everybody will just turn, things will just be negative, which means they have to be open-minded to change. They have to be lifelong students, lifelong learners. Do you understand what I'm saying? Got to be open-minded. You have to change the way you think about things. Be open-minded. If you stand still, your competitors will pass you by. Everybody is changing their style. Okay? And you need to see how things work. You need to see and say, Daddy, you are not coming out. Where do you think you are going? I said, I'm going out. They said, no, this dress is too old. We need it when we're in secondary school. This is it. The world is changing. You can't continue. And I said, come on, just get out of the way. They said, Daddy, you are not going out. You better get back and change. Who does that? You're going to embarrass us with all these baggy trousers. And they picked out, man. They said, these things, you don't have suits. It's only coats you have. And they sorted them and said, I should give these ones out to somebody. I said, Mommy, go to the market, pick new dresses for him. Give him the bill and let him pay. He needs to upgrade his style. And then we just smiled, and I changed to T-shirt and jeans and sneakers. And they said, now you are talking, And they said, look at the president of America, look at the president of first world and, top world. See their trousers, see their shirts, see their suits, see that is trend that you need to appear okay. And they just kept saying that, And I use that to illustrate the fact that the world is changing. They change or you are changed. You're back. All this. And then we have the Toyotas. Then we have all these other vehicles. We began to see that the export version is different from the home version, and they began to see that they tinker with a lot of things to be able to affect, so that they could change the thing, not just using the same old rugged. They had to change. And you know, if there was anything you think about Mercedes, their vehicles were never fuel economy. They got fuel like no man business. But what did they do? All the newer versions are all fuel economy. So you continue to change. You continue to change. You change the fuel gauge, you change the regulatory. And while they were struggling with that, then Toyota was having issues. I mean, Toyota had already perfected their fuel economy. And so Mercedes had no business hanging in there and using the same old GOP, the same thing with Ford and all General Motors. All of them just went in and started changing and started putting fuel economy. Because the world is changing, you got to change. Do you understand what I'm saying? Transformational leadership, number 11, number 7 things you need to do. 7 things you need to do. Willing to listen and entertain new ideas. It is a real empire. Team. Together, everyone achieves. Is to be open and to listen to ideas from all levels of the organization. Transformational leaders create intentional ways to listen to know, whether it's church, whether it's business, they do beyond your generation, beyond you. Are you following what I'm saying? My question to you is this. If you die today, can your organization run without you? If you were to go on sabbatical for 6 months, for 1 year, for 2 years, without coming back to work, can your organization function without you? That is when you know you've done a solid job. Transformational leaders don't hang around. Transformational leaders is your ability. So the day you assume duty, that's the day you start to look for your leaders that will overtake that. All right? You know, before the 20th century, before the 21st century, almost all the organizations you can think about, they led from bottom and from top to bottom approach. They sit down in the boardroom, make all the laws, especially car industries and all that. They just make all the things, bring out the design, and pass it down. It was later discovered, like the likes of Toyota, the likes of Honda. And the question they were asked is, how can we change this? So they changed the leadership style. And the leadership style now became bottom to top approach. The mechanics, the electricians, the upholstery people, all the different departments. They ask all the people in the electrical department, tell us what the people need. What are the complaints that these people are bringing, our customers are bringing? Okay, the mechanics, what are they bringing? And then this other upholstery and this and that. They just find out all departments now. It's your job now to tell us what innovation you want to see in the next lineup. The next cars that are coming. What are the things people complain about from this that we need to correct? And what are the areas we need to update? What are the designs that people want to see? That is bottom to top approach. And so this one's to write and give to their foremen. The foremen go to supervision now. They review these things. They do their due diligence and they settle it. And then you just write this and you say, oh, I like this innovation. I like the new screen they added to this and all that. And it is the workmen. It is the artisans. It's the electricians that brought about those innovations. Because you can no longer sit down in the 21st century, in the boardroom, and make decisions for people you do not know they exist. I gave an illustration the other time. A senator in our country, just, he, as a friend, he wanted to follow me to somewhere I was going to teach. And I was going to teach. So I told him, you can come and share something like this with them. So we were going. And then we went in and traveled for more than 15 kilometers, and there was hold up all through. And then he called me, he said, what is happening? Because he was driving, the other car was driving mine, and we said, what is going on? I said, what? He said, don't you see people, there's trouble in the country, there's trouble in the land, people are running away. I said, nobody's going anywhere. He said, you didn't see this, I lived in Lagos, I've never seen this all my life. It's too much and people are running. I said, nobody's running anywhere. I said, these people are all coming from different parts of the Federal Capital Territory. They're coming from. He said, are you serious? When I didn't even know. The goal is for your constituent. And if you have traveled by reasons to his team, You can't afford, let them have an input. Learn to listen to what they have to say. No matter how stupid, have an input. Learn to listen to what they have to say. No matter how stupid, let them listen. Learn to listen to them. Let them say what they have in mind. You will glean something from them. Number 8, I think that's the final thing I will say here. Transformational leader inspires people. You inspire people. Inspiration. You know how to inspire people. Transformational leaders can make those around them rise to the occasion. Inspiration comes not just from a formal motivational speech, but simple recognition for a job well done. But by treating people as individuals and taking time to understand and go, do good for $5, some $2. They didn't necessarily spend the money. They glazed it, they laminated it and put it in the, and then this is what our boss gave. And today you see some of these money that were given to them, or checks written for them, or appreciation notes written by Ford. And this is massive, it's selling for thousands of dollars because people value what the leader says to them much more than just the money. That's inspiration. Number 9, being proactive. Transformational leaders are proactive decision makers. They do not wait until others, decide, or wait for others to decide, then they react. No, they're willing to take calculated risks. They try new things. They take innovative approach to growing the organization. However, they also understand how to manage risk and make decisions that are backed by research and a multitude of insights, or multiple insights, well thought out insights and contribution from their team. So as leaders, you are proactive. To be proactive, you cannot just sit back and be waiting for the world to come to your aid. No, that is being a responder. But to be an initiator, to be a leader, you have to be proactive. Don't wait until things are falling before you start reacting. You don't react, you initiate, you act. Okay? Number 10, I think that's the final thing I will talk about now, is update and upgrade your vision. A transformational leader must remember that vision and mission are all tied to times and seasons. Seasons of life change. Therefore, there's needs to be updated and upgraded regularly. You see, in technology, you see your phone requiring every application that is made to be updated every 2 weeks or a month or whatever. When you don't, it hampers the functionality and the effectiveness of that device. To maximally enjoy that, therefore, you are told to update. And technology, lifestyle, magazines, fashion trends, market strategies, administration, leadership, and everything, they're constantly changing and advancing for the betterment of humanity. Therefore, improve on the vision of the organization to meet with current demands. Remember that if you fail to change, you will be changed. Life is all about making progress. You can make progress. You can develop. Always remember that change is the name of the game. Change is the name of the game. Improve on your vision, on the vision of your organization, and you're not going to be left behind. Thank you for joining us again. This has been The Life Coach. Please continue to join us next week, Friday again. I'm going to be here to spend the next 30 minutes with you. And please like and share, send us your comments, and let us know if you have any questions, if we can help mentor you. And if you want to support us, the coordinates are on your screen right now. Thank you so much.
Remember, your journey of self-discovery is a continuous one. Embrace the challenges, celebrate your successes, and never stop believing in your ability to grow. Thank you for listening to The Life Coach. Until next week, Friday, by 8 p.m., live a life filled with purpose and joy.